Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. And I've been getting bombarded with questions, and it's the same question over and over and over again. Is Mikey Garcia ducking Terence Crawford? Is Mikey Garcia avoiding Terence Crawford? Why doesn't Mikey Garcia want to fight Terence Crawford? I don't know where the question came from. I don't know how it originated, so I have to be honest and unbiased about it. And no, Mikey Garcia is not ducking Terence Crawford. How can you duck a fighter when you don't even fight in the same weight class? Let's be honest and unbiased. Mikey Garcia is fighting at 135, and he has the type of guys that, a Vasyl Lomachenko would be his biggest opponent and fight there. So why would he be ducking Terence Crawford, who's fighting at 147? See, this lets you know that there's a lot of casual fans and a lot of fanboys out there, because only a casual would think that Mikey Garcia naturally fights at 147 when he typically fights at 135 pounds. So let's be honest. Mikey Garcia, yes, he's recently moved up to 140 and snatched the belt, but then dropped automatically right back down to 135 and fought a Robert Easter Jr. So if we're going to be honest and unbiased about it, when have you seen Mikey Garcia fighting at 147 on a regular basis, or any fighting at all? These are casual fans, and so they think just because he's fighting an Errol Spence Jr. at 147 that he's fighting everyone at 147. The Errol Spence Jr. fight is a one-off type of fight. It's a fight that Mikey Garcia can dare to be great to make his legacy. And you'll say, well, why did he pick Errol Spence Jr. instead of Terence Crawford? Because of the hype surrounded by the fight, and also because of the promotion. They're both PBC fighters, and also Errol Spence Jr. is the most hyped fighter that I've seen in the last 10 years. You already have so many guys coming out here crowning Errol Spence Jr. as being the next coming of the next great fighter. But right now, Errol Spence Jr. is still relatively unproven. And so if he's still relatively unproven, and Mikey Garcia see all these weaknesses and defensive liabilities in him, why not pick him? Why not pick Errol Spence Jr. as your come-up fight? Because he's going to give you the biggest name that you can have at this point, right? And so if he'd be the biggest name on his resume, if he'd be a world champion by fighting him, and he'd also get so much credibility from the casual fans who've hyped him up. So if the casual fans feel like Errol Spence Jr. is unbeatable, what happens to your name and image when you go in there and beat him? You become a pay-per-view star. You've captured that entire audience of casual fans. So that's what I mean by that, is that Mikey Garcia has an ability to capture an entire audience of casual fans. Now, if Mikey Garcia turns around and wins this fight, and Terence Crawford issues a challenge, and Mikey Garcia says, no, I refuse to fight Terence Crawford under any circumstance, at that point, then you can say, okay, he's avoiding Crawford because he's shown that he can fight at 147. He's beat a world champion, and he has a belt at 147. Why not unify with Terence Crawford? At that point, you can ask those questions, not before, because that makes no sense. Mikey Garcia is moving up to 147 to face the supposed boogeyman of the division, the most hyped fighter, and yet guys are saying he's ducking a guy who he has no relationship with, who he doesn't even fight in the same division with. That makes no sense. You have to be honest and unbiased in your assessment. Mikey Garcia fights at 135, and he fought at 140 once to snatch a belt. So what? These guys have everything wrong, and that's how you know that these guys are fanboys. And you're not fanboys because you like a certain fighter or this or that. You're fanboys because you don't understand the game, and you only want to cheer on a fighter, and you throw all logic and reason out of the window. Mikey Garcia is definitely not ducking Terence Crawford. Mikey Garcia is basically coming to be great against an Errol Spence Jr. And the Terence Crawford fight could potentially happen after, but Mikey Garcia's whole game plan is to become a pay-per-view star. Once again, unbiased as always, is the IBFP.